day off, a day out of your extraordinarily busy schedules to come up and help us fight for what we all know is most important, which is ensuring that Vermont is the state where we get it right and treat early child education the same way we treat the rest of the education, our education system, so that we have a brighter future. And I want to thank you for what you're doing. And I just want to mention a couple of things. You know, I don't come to this from my belief in what you're doing from my head. I come from my heart. And most of us are formed by our own experiences. I know some of you have heard mine, but I am dyslexic. I'm the kid that got called into the principal's office with my parents in second grade to have them be told what I knew but hoped they'd never hear, which is that for all of the great work that my teachers were doing, they couldn't teach me how to read. And that was before early child education. I am that old. I earned these grades. That was before special education. And it made me realize and learn the hard way how important it is and what a difference it makes if you go to school ready to learn. The only reason that I stand before you as governor, because we have not elected very many governors yet that can't read, is the simple fact that, you know, I had a single teacher. Those of you from Windham County, Kim and others, her name was Claire Oglesby, who took me to her home on Windmill Hill Road 40-something years ago. She had a little log cabin, and she'd sit me on the lawn in the warm weather and around the stove in the cold weather, and she taught me how to read. And it took her some time, and I never would have learned how to read like other kids learn how to read. So my point is, there is no more important work than the work you are doing. This is what would have happened to me, in all likelihood, had it not been for Claire. And you see this happen with kids every day in Vermont. I would have lost my self-esteem. I would have then started to do other things and acted up. Felt both alienated, left out, sat in the back of the class hoping not to be noticed. By 6th grade, I would have acted up more. By 8th grade, I would have started drinking beer and smoking pot with my friends. And by high school, somewhere in there, I probably would have dropped out. And then we know what happens from there. So my point is, what is it about us in America that makes us think that we can just sit here in a cycle and a spiral that we're losing? I'm up there right now trying to solve a $174 million budget problem. At the same time that I've insisted that we lift the cap on early child education, that we do it right. Why are we doing that? Because our second biggest area of growth in our budget, our first is health care. That's why we're trying to pass a single-payer health care bill, where health care is a right, not a privilege, where it follows the individual and it's not a requirement of the employer. We'll show the other 49 states how to do health care right. But the second area of growth is in corrections. And guess what we know about them? Had it not been for Claire, I may have been one of those investments. We will invest $47,000 a year on average to put nonviolent offenders in prison, where they don't get any services, where we know that 90% of them have difficulty reading and 95% therefore have drug and alcohol related addictions, where we know that after they've been out for 3 years, when their time is up, they go back in 60 to 70% of the cases at another $45,000 to $47,000 a year, and then we quibble over whether we should pay you a fair wage to ensure that that doesn't happen. What's wrong with us? So I think we can get this right in Vermont, and I know we must. So I want to thank you for what you're doing. I want to tell you that you have a governor and a state government that's going to stand by you and with you, and let's be the state that shows that if we invest the dollars up front, we won't find that we join the rest of the country in a nation that is the best democracy in the world, that locks up more nonviolent offenders than any other country in the world, and leaves folks who have hope behind bars because we won't put our money where it matters. We can and must do better. So by taking today away from your busy schedules and making it possible for the kids that you work so hard with to be served so that you're here, you're up here to send a message to the legislature, to me, to the state of Vermont, that it matters. The coalition that you put together is working really closely with us to make sure we advance the importance of your efforts. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know you're underpaid. I know you're overworked. But there is no more important work that you are doing for Vermont's future and Vermont's kids than what you are doing right now. So keep on keeping on, and we're going to stand behind you all the way. Thank you so much.
To improve the quality of child care. And those delivering the petition are Kim Friedman from the Future Party One Coalition, Elizabeth Christie from the Turl Fund, Eliza Kane from the Red Hen Bakery, Lee Lauber from the Family Center of Washington County, and two parents, Heather Lebise from Underhill with her son Henry, and Sarah Stelz from Essex with her son Cameron. So we have We, the undersigned, applaud the Governor Shumlin's commitment to early childhood education. We call on him to support H.2 28, which calls for the establishment of a legislative task force to develop recommendations for financing an increased investment in high-quality early care and education. For our society to prosper in the future, children must have early experiences that support their intellectual, social, and emotional development. Research shows strong links between high-quality early care and education and healthy child development, and we must recruit to provide quality and stability in early care and education. We must recruit and retain a skilled workforce and provide programs with the support they need to meet quality standards.
For joining us up here. We deeply appreciate it. Thanks for all your hard work. And here are the actual petitions. So thanks to all that gathered signatures. We deeply appreciate it.
You know what? We have 1 or 2 minutes. Does anybody have a quick question for Governor Shumlin?
This is like, you can have the courage. No questions? Yeah, there we go.
Right,
Who is that?
My name is Sue Ryan.
Great to see you, Sue. Let's give Sue a hand for getting to the first.
So my question to you is, how can we know you have good intentions, we know the legislator wants to do the right thing. How can we help you make it happen? Because with all the best intentions, it doesn't always work. So what can we do to help you do it?
Well, a couple of things you can do. First of all, it really is important that we lift the caps. Right now, there is, as you know, a arbitrary system where if you're lucky, you get reimbursement. If you lose the lottery, you don't. So getting the message up there on the Hill today, because, they're making tough choices. We got a terrible budget. It's not a budget that anyone would be proud of submitting. We got to balance it. So ensure that the caps get lifted. That's really important. Second is tell your stories to legislators. I went up to Colchester Primary School 2 days ago, and I show up in my cruiser there, and because they took my car away from me, and I'm watching, and they have a great preschool program, and I'm watching this little kid get out, and his dad is trying to coax him into school on Monday morning. And the kid is throwing a full-on fit. And, the fists are flying and the words are flying and everyone's kind of watching and Dad's doing everything he possibly can to get this kid close enough to the door. So it took him a while. And I was out greeting buses, so I was watching this whole thing, kind of from a distance. 7 or 8 minutes later, he coaxes the screaming kid close enough to the door so that 3 full-on folks can get that kid into the classroom. Now, I just don't think most Vermonters understand the work you do. I don't think they do. It really helps if you tell the story.
And everybody here has a story, so I think, yes, your encouragement hopefully will help them share them, if not over lunch today, then perhaps in writing or at another opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, well, we would love to sit here and talk to you. We have to.
Thank you,
State
Barbara.
house.
She's giving me the hook. Keep up the great work. Thanks so much for everything you're doing.